So as you're all probably aware, Fluffal's got new support in the Rise of the Duelist set that came out roughly over a month ago now. And I've actually been playing a lot with this deck, mainly because I still don't have my Animador and Archosaurs for my dinosaurs, hence why I haven't made a Dino deck profile. And this is a bit of an updated version of what I had recorded already for a Fluffal deck. This is before I got stuff like Imperms and everything. So now I actually have an updated version that this time will actually go up compared to the last one, which never saw the light of day. So this utilizes a lot of the new support in its new playstyle, and also it's a bit centered around going first more than going second, because if you don't go first now, you kind of just lose, which kind of sucks, but I mean, I guess I gotta do what I gotta do. This is the only deck I have right now that's complete. My Mermails are almost done. But yeah, so this is Fluffals in September 2020. So to start off, we play our 3-dog. By the way, sorry if my angling stuff is weird. I'm looking at the film upside down based on how my camera's angled down at my mat. So I might not get stuff right. But anyways, 3 Fluffal dog like usual. It's Stratos, you know, you kind of can't go wrong with 3 Stratos. 3 bear. I refuse to cut bear down to 2 like ever. I know I say this about a lot of things that you'll probably see here in a minute, that I'm not going to cut down to less copies, but I will. But bear is something that is just kind of crucial. Sometimes I will side 1 bear out, and depending on the match, but usually I'm keeping 3 bear in, because getting that toy vendor set directly to the field is really important. 2 penguin and 2 wings. These remain the same for our 2-ofs as well. You want to see wings sometimes, not all the time. You can search it, and same goes with penguin. I've seen people play penguin at 3 now when they're going first, which, I mean, I guess that's fine if you really want to play the Bahamut Shark Toad engine, or you just want to go into something like a Dweller. You know, that's totally fine. I mean, I personally don't have the extra deck space for that. Honestly, it really hurt cutting some of the things in the extra deck that I actually ended up cutting, but I kind of just had to for the greater good, because, man, the extra deck space is incredibly tight with this deck now. But, yeah, so the ratio stays the same for penguin and wings. We actually play 1 of the new Dolphin. Dolphin's really good if we use it with Foolish Burial Goods, because basically you normal summon it, and then this isn't on summon, but it's just during the main phase. You can target a toy vendor in your grave, mill a Fluffal from your main deck to the grave, or an Edgem Sabers, and then you set it. Or you set it and then you mill, which is really good in with setup with wings, because you can goods, use toy vendor, search the Dolphin, normal Dolphin, Dolphin effect. Set the toy vendor, and then you'll have a wings engrave as well, so you can use a bear or something. I don't know, it's just a great way to help resolve wings, and also when it's used for a fusion summon, it's a worse cat because it shovels a fusion spell or a polymerization. So honestly, I'd rather just have cat for that second effect, so I usually end up linking or exceeding off with Dolphin. But for the other 1-ofs, 1 owl and 1 cat. This has stayed the same too. Owl is really good for just helping you extend, especially with the new Frightfur repair, searching the poly, or working against stuff like Imperial Order by letting you fusion summon with its monster effect instead. And then Cat's always just nice to have it, 1 to recycle your polymerizations, which helps extend your plays, though I don't search him nearly as much anymore, because I'd rather search something like an Owl that I can summon off the repair. That's it for the Fluffals. Pretty hefty Fluffal lineup, honestly. Makes up a good chunk of the deck. Onto the Edgemps. 3 chain, this is never going to chain. Never going to change. Edgemp chain, searches your Frightfurs. I've actually resolved this first effect where when he swings he searches something now, because sometimes when I do brick I just have a chain. But that's not going to change anytime soon. And then we play 3 of the new Scythe. Scythe is really good if you're forced to go second, because during their turn, you can kind of just fusion summon into a whale, blow something up, and if you use a penguin, which is my favorite combination, you get to also draw 2, discard 1, then you get to mill your repair for later. And sometimes the opponent ends up thinking that it's turn 2 because you did a bunch of things, and they're going to try to set up things to OTK you, which they can't do because it's still turn 1. It's pretty funny. But yeah, Scythe's just really good. Also the protection and Grave's really nice, even outside of Whale's effect. And then 1 Sabers, because you still need it to make your tiger and stuff, and your wolf. And then that's it for the Fluffals and Edgemps. On to the last monsters. We literally just play 3 Ash Blossom. So if you're playing a more going second, centered build, these should definitely be Forbidden Droplets or Dark Ruler No Mores. or hell, you can even do Kaijus. This can also be the Dragoon package. I cut my Anaconda. I was going to try to get Dragoon package, but I'm not even going to try buying more tins to get Dragoon. I bought 2 and got Savage Dragon twice in a row, so that kind of made me mad. But yeah, 3 Ash, honestly. Oh yeah, you can also play Gamma. I've noticed Gamma's actually like really, really good this format, probably even better than Ash. He's got to play the driver as well. But I don't even own Gammas, but if I did, I'd probably play them over these Ashes. But like, you know, Ash is still fine. It's ironically, it's probably the worst hand trap this format that's like been mainstream, so like not including Cherries or Ghost Bell or whatever. But that's it for the monster lineup. Good amount of monsters, actually. Alright, let me try to angle this properly. Good amount of monsters, makes up a little over half the deck now. But anyways, on to the spells. We have 3 Toy Vendor, kind of standard. I honestly go through all of these in one turn now. It's pretty funny. 3 Poly, obviously 3 Poly. It's a fusion deck that searches Poly a lot. 3 Patchwork, literally just one of the best cards in the deck. Just searching out your Edge Imp and your Poly. It kind of sucks when you open this with a bunch of other Edge Imps, which happens a lot now because you play 7 Edge Imps instead of 4. So, I mean, I would never cut this down to less than 3 copies, though. It's just that important. 2 Frightfur Fusion. This is another card people like to cut down to 1. I don't see a reason why. I mean, like, because you go first now, this is actually going to help a lot, because this is usually going to be used when you're going first to help summon another whale to make your Calamities plays, and then also you're going to use it after they do their board, or try to use their board when you have a bunch of negates up. You're going to use a second copy to try and go for the kill. So I like using 2 Frightfur Fusion still. And for the 1-0s, we have 1 Frightfur Factory, you know, banish something from grave, basically fusion summon. And then 1 of the new Frightfur Repair. So Frightfur Repair is actually really nice in tandem with Whale, because you can send it directly from your deck to your grave. You can also pitch it off your hand with Toy Vendor. But it's really nice because you can banish it, like, and then summon like a penguin or a dolphin or an owl or whatever from your hand that you needed to summon. Because a lot of the times, this deck had way too many normal summons that you could do. And so you'd end up kind of just not being able to get some of your plays off, because you can draw into something like a Fluffal Owl off of a Toy Vendor or something, or not off a Toy Vendor, off of a Wings, and you kind of just can't use it because you already used your normal summon on a dog. So having Repair is nice. The first effect isn't that great, like it's just worse Fluffal Angel, which I was playing in the other deck profile, but then I cut for this card because it's just a lot better. But yeah, that does it for the main spells. I mean, I guess we also have the 2 Foolish Burial Goods. A lot of people are cutting this, perfectly understandable. You can play more hand traps, play Nibiru probably. Like, honestly, Nibiru is just really good. But I like playing the 2 goods, it helps me do my plays going first. Just basically 2 extra copies of Toy Vendor. Never play more than 2 though. You want to see it sometimes, but not all the time. And then finally, we have 2 Imperms. This is one of the major changes from the last deck profile, because, wow, Imperm is absolutely amazing. Even when you're going first, or when you're forced to go second, like, Imperm just does so much work, and I'm so grateful that I pulled these out of Dual Overloads, because I was actually going for the giant manga cards, and also for Needle Fibers and stuff, which unfortunately, while I did get the manga cards, I literally did not pull a single Needle Fiber, but I pulled these and a bunch of other really good cards. Dual Overload is just a great set in general. But this is going to wrap up our main deck. Let me see, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Okay, so it is still 40 cards. I remember being like 42 because I didn't think of what to cut for the Imperms, but I guess I eventually did find out something. Oh yeah, I cut my Kaijus. Yeah, unfortunately I no longer made my Gamma Seals. They're in my side because I want to go first more. But just know that they're there. Plus a Dogoron in my side for stuff like Dragoon, and hell, even Megaclops, which unfortunately I lost to Cosmos because of Megaclops, and despite playing 3 Kaijus, I didn't draw into a single one of them, which really sucked. So, yeah, that was one of my last losses at locals. But anyways, not including that humiliating defeat, we play 3 Frightfur Whale. Ignore this one. I had to use Expo Marker to get Sharpie off. So it's a bit darker. It's not a proxy. I assure you it's real. 3 Whales. Frightfur Whale is so amazing. So if you don't know what he does, he's basically the same summon as Daredevil and Kraken, which with like generic materials. Oh my god, I keep stuttering. And if it's summoned, you get to target a card, or not, you don't even target. You get to destroy one card on both fields, so it's like Ningirsu, but it doesn't send. And which is really good in tandem with Scythe, because you can summon this on your opponent's turn using Scythe, and then destroy itself and something else, and then Scythe will protect it, so you basically just get to blow something up on their field for free. And then quick effect once per turn. By the way, none of these effects are hard once per turns, they're all soft once per turns. Once per turn quick effect, you can target a fusion monster you control, except, no, you can target one fusion monster you control, I'm stupid. Send a Frightfur card from your main or extra deck to grave, except Whale, and then you get to make that fusion monster gain half its own original attack as attack. So this can immediately put itself up to 39, which is really, really good. Put up your Sabertooths to 4K. It's like really, really awesome. And the main fact is that's level 9, so 2 of these are immediately going to be used. You just have the third for afterward. Yeah. Whale, amazing card all around. Glad I'm playing 3 copies. I used to play 2, but then I got the third one for my friend, which I had to erase the Sharpie off of with the Expo marker. And then 3 Sabertooth. This isn't really changed. Like, this hasn't really changed. It's still really good. A lot of people are cutting it down to 2 or 1 because it's not quote-unquote as great now that Master Rule 5 is in place. But you're going to use 2 of these, preferably, on your first turn as well, to go into a Hope Harbinger. So you want the last one as well. Also, the blanket attack boost is nice, and being indestructible is nice when you can. 2 Kraken. I actually considered cutting a Kraken down for Abyss Dweller, but I ended up cutting a Tiger instead. Kraken is still just way too good. However, unfortunately, you're going to go into Whale more. So maybe if you want to do some other stuff with your extra deck, if you want to do the Dragoon package, you can cut a Kraken. You're not going to summon him too often anymore, which sucks because he's still my favorite in terms of artwork for all the Frightfurs. But he's still really good. Swinging twice, target sending, and then putting it in defense mode, which rarely comes up because he usually kill. Yeah, Whale. Also, it's a level 8, so you can make Harbinger if you really want to, but I'd rather just use Sabertooth. 1 Frightfur Tiger. Yes, I know. Chastise me, scold me for always chastising people that cut Tiger down to 1. I'm just like, oh, I'm always going to play Tiger at 2 because you might need to go into the other one. Well, unfortunately, I had to cut a Tiger for Abyss Dweller. It was just that important because I wanted to cut my Anaconda as well because I didn't play Dragoon, and then I cut Anaconda for something else that you'll see here in a sec. But Tiger is still really good, targeting things, blowing it up. Not that great if you're forced to go second anymore because your opponent's just going to make a bunch of negates, and then you kind of have to, like, if you play Dark Ruler over the Ashes, that's totally fine because then you can just use Tiger after using a Dark Ruler, which is just really, really good, honestly. He's kind of nutty. But Tiger's also still really good for the attack gain anyway. And, yeah. Always play at least 1 Tiger. Like, please never play 0 Tiger. 1 Frightfur Wolf. So, I always, and like any other Fluffal player you'll ever meet, will always say, oh, you can usually cut Wolf for whatever you want because you're not going to go into it very much. All your other guys are better. I've actually gone into Wolf literally at least once a tournament since I started playing again, like a month ago. And it's really funny because with Whale as well, you can target your Wolf and then send something like a repair, whatever, to make Wolf go to 3k. And one of the problems with Wolf is that his attack wasn't that great, so he couldn't beat over monsters. Well, now, if you just summon a Whale alongside a Wolf, which isn't that hard, you can just have a 3k attack Wolf and then swing at everything. And that'll just kind of go for game. And also, it's really good if your opponent doesn't have very much of a board, because you negated all their stuff, and so you can just go second, Frightfur Fusion, go into a Wolf, blah, 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 dead. And that's literally all he is just kind of an OTK enabler. And then, this is what I cut my Anaconda for. 1 copy of Frightfur Sheep. So, Sheep isn't that great anymore, admittedly, but there's so many situations where going first, if I don't get my full combo, I'll end off being able to make, like, something else. But, like, I don't want to make a Sabertooth because it's kind of useless having a Sabertooth that can't, like, that isn't indestructible. And there's also situations where something like Sheep would be really nice for, like, no damage step effects, and then coming back after being killed, and also being able to summon it using Chain. So I play the 1 Sheep now. I mean, I played 1 Sheep anyway. I think there was one point where I played 2 Sheep, and it was incredibly wrong. But, yeah, Sheep's not that great, but it's still better than having Anaconda with nothing to summon off of it. I mean, you can summon your regular fusions, but at the end of a turn, you'd rather summon a Dragoon, and I don't play Dragoon, so... Yeah, that's it for the fusion monsters. There are 11 of them. On to the Xyz monsters. One Calamity is this card's ridiculous, and you can summon it really easily by opening literally any Fluffal and a Frightfur Patchwork, or any way to fusion summon twice. It's actually ridiculous. One Hope Harbinger, because you can extend your Calamities play into this as well. One of my easiest boards to end off on is a Calamities and a Harbinger, and then sometimes an Abyss Dweller. Because if they couldn't use monster effects in the first place, well, now lock them out of all graveyard effects. This is my perfect trio to end off on going first, and then using my last Frightfur Fusion the next turn to just go into something like a wolf, and then going for game. And this trio is just actually unstoppable, because it's funny, the only thing that can really stop this is Forbidden Droplet, because Calamities, like, no matter what, you'll end up getting the Dweller and Calamities off unless they have a Droplet, because Dark Ruler would literally only work on Hope Harbinger, because these are lingering effects, much like Artifact Scythe. So they need to have, like, 2 Imperms, or they'd need to have a Forbidden Droplet and discard at least 2. So it's pretty great. I like having this trio, and they kind of win me almost every game. I literally only get defeated by Fringe decks and Infernoble now. It's really funny. It's not even because they loop my hand, it's just because they can do so much advantage off of just like a Neospace Connector. But, final card in the extra deck, 1 Nightmare Unicorn. This literally helped me out in Evil Storm Ophion, because I had no other outlets to it, because none of the Fluffal main deck monsters are really strong. But Unicorn's also really good for just any sort of removal. Like, targeting, shuffling removal is really good. And, yeah. Oh, God. That's got to do it for this Fluffal deck profile. I hope you all enjoyed. Tell me if you guys are testing out Fluffal, or if you want to test out Fluffal, what you're playing. Like, honestly, if you like this deck profile or not, tell me if you like that. I like getting a lot of feedback on my videos. It's kind of nice getting more than just views. I'd rather also kind of just know what you guys are thinking about it. If you guys want to see test hands, I can do a video like test hands, because the thing is, other than the Calamities thing I said, there's no real set combos, like, quote-unquote, with this deck, because a lot of it relies on RNG that you get off drawing with Penguin, Toy Vendor, Wings, all that stuff, or that you get for your opening hand. So, yeah, once again, I hope you guys all enjoyed this deck profile. If you want to see more deck profiles, I mean, it's kind of the main thing on this channel is deck profiles, but if you're excited for more, be sure to hit the like button, comment, subscribe if you want to see more Yu-Gi-Oh! Related content. Expect a live reaction to the ban list once the ban list comes out, like at least the day of, because I might be in school, like I usually am when it happens. But I'm going to do a live reaction. I usually don't do live reactions. But, yeah, that's going to do it for this one, and I'll see you in the next one. This is Team Aurora Leader Delta, signing off.